Okay, good morning to all. Our next topic in this unit is tractive effort. Okay, so the effective force acting on the wheels of a locomotive necessary to propel the train. Okay, the active force that is necessary to propel the train, which is acting on the wheels of the locomotive, is nothing but tractive effort. Okay, so what is the tractive effort? It is the effective force that is required to propel the train, okay, that is acting on the wheels. Okay, you can denote this tractive effort by F suffix T. So this tractive effort, actually it is a vector quantity always acting tangential to the wheel of the locomotive. Okay, the tractive effort will be always acting tangential to the wheel of the locomotive. Okay, and it is measured in newtons. Okay, so this tractive effort, the total tractive effort, you can even call it as the net effective force. Okay, the total tractive effort is also known as net effective force, which is acting on the wheels of the locomotive or on the wheels of the train. Okay, to run on the track will be equal to sum of three tractive efforts. Okay, the total tractive effort acting on the wheels of the locomotive, that is train, will be equal to the sum of three tractive efforts. Okay, so one tractive effort is required for linear and angular acceleration. The first tractive effort is required for linear and angular acceleration. Let us denote it by Fa. Next tractive effort is to overcome the effect of gravity. Okay. The third tractive effort is to overcome the frictional resistance to the motion of the train. Okay. So there are the total or the net tractive effort is the summation of three tractive efforts. One is due to the one is required for the linear and angular acceleration. Let us denote it by Fa. And next one is to overcome the effect of gravity. Let us denote it by Fg. Next one is to overcome the frictional resistance to the motion of the train. So let us denote it by Fr. So total, this F suffix T. Okay, this F suffix T, capital T I will write. My system is not responding. Yeah, so F suffix T, F suffix capital T is the net tractive effort. If F suffix capital T is the net tractive effort, then the Ft will be equal to Fa plus Fg plus Fr. Fa is what? Fa is the tractive effort required for linear and angular acceleration. Fg is the tractive effort required to overcome the gravity, okay, effect of gravity. And next, Fr is the tractive effort required to overcome the frictional resistance of the motion of the train. So the total tractive effort will be always equal to Fa plus Fg plus Fr. Okay. So the Fa is with respect to the linear and angular acceleration, Fg is with respect to the gravity, and the third one is with respect to the frictional resistance to the motion of the train. Okay. So let us see the mechanism of train movement. Okay. So what you can see here is the essential driving mechanism of the electric locomotive. So the electric locomotive will be consisting of a pinion. Pinion means a gear with a small number of teeth designed with a mesh with large wheel on a track. Okay, so you can see here, these are the small teeth. Okay, so pinion is what? It is a gear with a small number of teeth designed to mesh with a large wheel or a track. Okay, so this is a large wheel. Okay, this is a large wheel, and this is a pinion, so which is having small mesh of teeth surrounding its circumference. Okay, so the electric locomotives consist of a pinion and a gear wheel. This is the gear wheel. Okay, so this is a gear wheel, you can see here, gear wheel, and this is the pinion. Okay, meshed with the traction motor. Okay, these two are meshed with the traction motor and the wheel of the locomotive. These two are meshed with the traction motor as well as the wheel of the locomotive. The gear wheel and the pinion. Okay, this is the pinion and this is the gear wheel. These are meshed with the locomotive wheels. Okay, means train wheels. Okay, so here the gear wheel transfer the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion to the driving wheel. Okay, driving wheel is the wheel of the train. Okay, so the tractive effort from the edge of this pinion will be transferred from this gear wheel to the edge of the driving wheel. So this larger circle, what you can see is the driving wheel. This inner circle with what is teeth out in, at the outer surface, okay, is the gear wheel. Okay, so this is the motor armature. This large circle is the motor armature. Inner circle with these meshes with these teeth is the pinion. Okay, so here you can see four things here. One is this is the motor pinion, and this is the motor armature. This is the driving wheel of the train, and this is the gear wheel. Okay, so what this gear wheel will do is it will transfer the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion, okay, to the driving wheel. So this F of T is the tractive effort. Okay, so instead of what I am thinking is better to yes, okay, something is wrong. Okay, it's not changing. Okay, leave it. Here in this image, it is small t at f suffix small t is there. That's why I want to change this, but it's not changing. Okay, whatever. It's not changing. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Okay, so better because in that image it is small t. That's why I have changed. That's the reason only. Okay, that's the only reason. Nothing else. Okay, so this is our f of t. Okay. Now, let us assume that capital T is the torque exerted by the motor in Newton meter, and F suffix P is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion in Newton meter. Okay, and F suffix T, you know, the tractive effort at the wheel. Okay, and let us assume capital D is the diameter of the driving wheel. Okay, of course you can see here. So let us assume capital D is the diameter of the driving wheel. Small d1, d1 is the diameter of the pinion. Small d1 is the diameter of the pinion, and d2, d2 is the diameter of the gear wheel. Okay, and let us assume neta is the efficiency of the power transmission. Efficiency of the power transmission for the motor to the driving axle. Okay, now the torque developed by the motor will be T is equal to Fp into d1 by 2. Okay, so what is F suffix P? F suffix P is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion in newtons. Okay, Fp is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion in newtons. Okay, and d1 is what? d1 is the diameter of the pinion. Okay, so the torque required by the motor will be equal to Fp into d1 by t. So what is Fp? It is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion will be equal to what? 2 into t by d1. Okay, 2 into t by d1 is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion. Okay, so the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion transfer to the wheel of the locomotive. What is the wheel of the locomotive? This is the wheel of the driving wheel. Okay, okay, so it is the wheel of the locomotive. So it will be equal to neta into Fp into d2 by d. Okay, so what is d2? d2 is the diameter of the, where is it? Image. Yeah, d2 is the diameter of the gear wheel, isn't it? d2 is the diameter of the gear wheel, and what else do you need? Fp you already know, and capital D is what? Diameter of the driving wheel. Capital D is the diameter of the driving wheel. So Ft is equal to neta into Fp into d2 by d is the tractive effort at the edge of the pinion which is transferred to the locomotive of the train. Okay, locomotive wheel or the train wheel. Okay, so consider this FP as equation 1 and FT as equation 2. You can substitute FP from equation 1 into 2. Okay, you can substitute this equation 1 into 2. If you substitute, you will get like this. Okay, and you can further rearrange the terms and simplify it further. Okay, if you substitute it, instead of FP, you write 2T by D1. Okay, and you can rearrange the terms, and I have sent this D this side and D1 that side, D2 by D1. This is neta into 2T by D into D2 by D1 you will get. Okay, so neta into T into 2 by D into D2 by D1. I have replaced it by some notation R. R is nothing but a gear ratio. Okay, R is nothing but a gear ratio. So I have rearranged the simply I have rearranged these terms and rewritten this expression. Ft is equal to what? 2 neta into R into T by D. Okay, where R is the gear ratio. Okay, capital T is the torque developed by the motor. Capital D is the diameter of the driving wheel. Okay, capital D is the diameter of the driving wheel. Okay, so quickly, if possible, if people note it down within 1 minute, as soon as possible, note it down and I will proceed. Just note it down. Okay, as soon as you complete, just text me. Okay, I hope you have completed this slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let us proceed to the next. So the tractive effort required for propulsion of the train, we already know. The tractive effort required for the propulsion of the train is Ft is equal to Fa plus Fg plus Fr. Okay, so Fa is the force required for linear and angular acceleration. Fg is the force required to overcome the gravity. And Fr is the force required to overcome the resistance during the motion. Okay. So let us derive an expression for this force which is required for linear and angular acceleration, that is Fa. Okay. Okay. So now let us assume the weight of the train is W tons. Okay. And the train is being accelerated at alpha kilometers per hour per second. Okay. So weight of the train is W tons and it is accelerated at alpha kilometers per hour per second, and let us assume mass of the train m is equal to 1000 w kgs. Okay, what is w? W is the weight of the train. Okay, weight of the train is w tons and mass of the train m is equal to 1000 w kgs, and acceleration just now I have told you it is alpha kilometers per hour per second. Okay, so now I don't want this to be in kilometers per hour per second. I want to convert it into meters per second square. That's why I will, what will happen? Acceleration will be alpha equal to 1000 by 3600. Okay. So you just simplify it. You will get acceleration in meters per second square as 0.2778 alpha. Okay. So this, if you divide this 1000 by 3600, you will get this 0.2778 alpha. Okay, so simply I have converted this kilometers per hour per second to meters per second square. Okay, so according to the fundamental law of acceleration, okay, according to the fundamental law of acceleration, the force required to accelerate the motion of the body is given by, okay, the force that is required to accelerate the body, okay, is given by force is equal to F equal to m into A. M is the mass, A is the acceleration. And you already know m is what? It is 1000 watt kgs. So 1000 W kgs. Not, it's not watt. W is the weight in tons. Okay. W is the weight of the train in tons. So 1000 W into point alpha is what? 0.27. Here I might not have written alpha. Okay, it gives a wrong notation. I might have written simply I might have written into acceleration. Here also acceleration. Okay, it's okay. Okay, simply I will write. Okay, I can write here. So the tractive effort required for linear acceleration is equal to Fa is equal to m into A. A is what? Acceleration is what? 0.2778 alpha. So you just multiply it, you will get 27.88 W alpha. Okay. So W is not watts, it is the weight of the train in tons. Okay. So you have got an expression for Fa. Okay. So now you can note it down. You can note it down quickly. Okay. So Ft is equal to Fa plus Fg plus Fr. Write it down. Don't write this. Okay. Ft is equal to Fa plus Fg plus Fr. Write it down later on. Now. Okay. So you write it down. Weight of the train, W turns, acceleration alpha. Okay. Weight of the train, W turns. Write in your own words. Okay. Don't copy as it is. Weight of the train, W turns, acceleration alpha. Okay, and after writing that, write down this. After writing these expressions, now write down this. Fa is equal to okay. So if the train has rotating parts such as motor armature, okay. So are you still writing? So if this train has rotating parts such as motor armature, wheels, axles and gear system, the weight of the body, okay, so the weight of the body being accelerated including the rotating parts is known as effective weight, okay. If the train is having rotating parts, then the weight of the body being accelerating including these rotating parts, it will be known as effective weight or the accelerating weight, okay. It is known as effective weight as well as accelerating weight, okay. So you let us denote that effective weight as We, okay. We is the effective weight, okay. Now the accelerating weight W is much higher. It will be around 8 to 15%, okay. So this accelerating weight W will be much higher and it will be around 8 to 15% than that of dead weight of the train, okay. So let us denote this dead weight by W. Dead weight of the train is denoted by W, let us assume. Effective weight is denoted by We and dead weight is denoted by W. Okay, so dead weight is the heaviness of an object that cannot, okay, or does not move by itself, okay. So dead weight is the heaviness of an object that cannot move by itself, okay. So the dead weight of the train which cannot move by itself is known as, is denoted by W, okay. So the attractive effort required for linear and angular acceleration, Fa will be, including this effective weight, We will be, okay, 277.88 We alpha, okay. So the parts of this train, they need to be given angular acceleration at the same time as the whole train is accelerated in the linear direction, okay. So as the train is accelerated in the linear direction, it needs to be given angular acceleration at the same time. So train needs angular acceleration as well as linear acceleration at the same time, okay. So we must consider this accelerating weight, that is We. So when you include We, Fa will be equal to 277.88 We alpha. Okay, so just note down this expression. Now let us see the tractive effort required to overcome the train resistance, Fr. We have calculated Fa. Okay, we have calculated Fa. Let us calculate Fr. So when the train is running at uniform speed on a level track, it has to overcome the opposing force due to the surface friction, okay. That is friction at the various parts of the rolling stock, the friction at the track, and also due to the wind resistance, okay. So when the train is running at a uniform speed on the track, it has to overcome the opposing force due to the surface friction, okay. So the surface friction is the friction at various parts of the rolling stock, the friction at the track, and also due to the wind resistance, okay. So the magnitude of the frictional resistance will depend on the shape, size and condition of the track. Okay, and it also depends on the velocity of the train. Okay, so the magnitude of the frictional resistance will depend on various factors such as shape, size, condition of the track as well as velocity of the train. Okay, now let us assume that R is the specific train resistance in Newton per ton of the dead weight and W is the dead weight in ton. Okay, so if R is the specific resistance in Newton per ton of the dead weight and W is the dead weight of the train, then the tractive effort required to overcome the train resistance, Fr will be equal to W into R newtons. Okay, the tractive effort required to overcome the train resistance, Fr will be equal to WR. Just write down this expression. Just write down this expression, Fr. Okay. Now, let us determine this Fg. Fg is what? The tractive effort required to overcome the effect of gravity. Okay. Let us assume that train is moving up. Okay. You can see here, let us assume this is our train. Okay. This is our train which is moving up. Okay. So, the gravity component of the dead weight, you know what is meant by dead weight now. Okay. So the gravity component of the dead weight which opposes the motion of the train in upward direction, you can see here. Okay. So the dead weight will oppose the motion of the train in the upward direction. Okay. So the gravity component of this dead weight of this train will oppose the motion of the train in the upward direction. And in order to prevent this opposition, the tractive effort should be acting in upward direction. Okay. So the tractive effort must act in the upward direction to overcome the gravity component of the dead weight, which opposes the motion of the train. Okay. So here the tractive effort is what? Fg. You can observe here it is directed up in, its direction is in upward direction. Okay. So Fg is in upward direction. So it will oppose the gravity component of the dead weight of this train. Okay. So the Fg is the tractive effort required to overcome the effect of gravity. So Fg is given by plus or minus mg sine theta. Okay. So you know what is m? M is the mass of the train. You can replace it by 1000 W g sine theta. Okay. So m is what? M is 1000 W, and g is you can write g as 9.81 meters per second square. Okay. Okay. Now, from this figure, sine theta. Let us calculate the sine theta. We know just now we have written m. Well, m is what? 1000 W. G is 9.81. Let us determine the sine theta. That is, sine theta is nothing but the gradient. Okay, from this image. Okay. So we have assumed the train is moving upward, and this tractive effort Fg is opposing the gravity component of the dead weight of this train. Okay, so sine theta is given by, sine theta is what? Okay, BC by AC. Okay, BC by AC will give you sine theta. Okay, this is theta. Okay, sine theta is what? BC by AC. So BC is the elevation. Okay, and AC is the distance along the train. You can see here, I have written here. Okay, BC is the elevation and distance along the train is AC. So elevation by distance along the train will give you sine theta. Okay, elevation by distance along the train will give you sine theta. Therefore, you can determine the sine theta is the gradient. So you can determine the percentage gradient. Okay, so percentage gradient, let us assume it has G. G is the percentage gradient. It is given by sine theta into 100. Okay, percentage gradient G is sine theta into 100. So sine theta will be what? G by 100. Okay, sine theta will be G by 100. Okay, sine theta is G by 100. So now substitute the sine theta and m value and g value in the above equation. M is what? 1000 W, g is 9.81, and sin theta is g by 100. Okay, 1000 by 100 you will get 10. So you just multiply this. Fg will be plus or minus 98.1 Wg. Okay. Now, so Fg is plus or minus 98.1 Wg newtons. So when will this plus sign come and when will this negative sign come for this tractive effort? Okay. So the plus sign for the train is means plus sign to be given whenever the train is moving on up gradient. Okay. So whenever the train is moving on up gradient, then plus sign must be considered. And whenever the train is moving on down gradient, then minus sign. Means whenever train is moving down towards down, then minus 98.1 Wg is our Fg. And then our train is moving upwards, Ft is equal to plus 98.1 Wg. Okay. So why we are using plus sign for up gradient and negative sign for down gradient? The reason behind that is due to the train is moving on the up gradient, means when the train is moving upwards, the tractive effort showing equation will be required to oppose the force due to the gravitational force. Okay, so when train is moving upward, it has to oppose the gravity and it has to move up. Okay, but while moving down, okay, this tractive effort will be added to the gravitational force. Okay, means there will not be any opposing force. Okay, so it will be added up. That's why minus 98.1 Wg is for down gradient. So the total reactive effort, the total reactive effort Ft is what? Fa plus Fr plus Fg. What is Fa? 277.8 Wf alpha plus what is Fr? It's Wr, and Fg is plus or minus 98.1 Wg. So you will consider plus whenever the train is moving upward, you will consider minus whenever train is moving downward. Okay. Now let us see the power output of the driving axle. Okay, let us, you know what is F is nothing but the tractive effort, and let us assume V is the speed of the train in kilometers per hour. Okay, so the power output is rate of work done, you already know. Okay, so rate of work done, you can for with respect to train, whenever we are speaking, you can write it as tractive effort into distance by time. Okay, so distance by time is nothing but speed, so tractive effort into speed. Okay, so what is tractive effort? Tractive effort is nothing but Ft. Okay, so speed is V. Okay, so when I want the output in watts and okay, so I want to convert this kilometers per hour into meters per second, then 1000 by 3600. Okay, multiplied with 1000 by 3600. So that's why I have multiplied it here. Okay, so since I have converted this kilometers per hour to meters per second. So okay, so Ft into V by 1000 by 3600. Okay, so this 1000 I can write as K. So Ft into V by 3600 kilowatt. Okay, so here I have assumed V is in meters per second. Okay, so that's why you can neglect this K. Okay, 1000, and simply you can 1000 by 3600. You can neglect it here, and Ft you will get P is equal to Ft into V. Okay, it is there somewhere. Yeah, P is equal to Ft into V watts. Okay, so I'm neglecting that. Okay, 1000 by 3600 I'm neglecting. Okay, so here actually what I have done is I have converted kilometers per hour to meters per second. Okay, I have converted. So if I am assuming that V is in meters per second, no need to write 1000 by 3600, isn't it? Okay, here when V is kilometers per second, I have to write 1000 by 3600. I have to multiply Ft into V by okay, 1000 by 3600. So if I am assuming V is in meters per second, then simply I can write P is equal to Ft into V. Okay, and if neta is the efficiency of the gear transmission, then the power output of the motor will be Ft into V by neta. Okay, so Ft into V by meter. Okay, so this is for meters per second. If I am considering V is in kilometers per second, and if I want to represent that kilometers per second in meters per second, then K by 3600. Okay, you have to write. Okay, so it depends. It will depend this whether you have to multiply with 1000 by 3600 or not. It will depend on the value of V. Okay, speed. So this is about the power output from the driving axle.